Welcome to the Mars Special on Glasgow News.
Mars has been a very interesting planet to learn about because it has a very interesting nickname. It is called the Red Planet, and it's interesting because the planet is red. I wasn't quite sure why they did it that way. So, other things about Mars, it has 4 faces. They're called Elysium, Tharsis, Syrtis Major, and Arcadilia. Mars is about half the size of Earth. That's pretty small, even though Earth is a pretty big planet. It has 2 moons. Earth only has 1 moon. But, 2 moons is more than 1. It's 2 times. It has the biggest point in the whole solar system. It's called Mount Olympus.
Mom?
It's bigger than Arizona, and it's a volcano. It is the 4th planet away from the sun, and yeah, Mars is just a really interesting planet to learn about because it's called the Red Planet, and it's red.
So how did we find all this information about Mars? Well, it all started from 2 little rovers, Spirit and Opportunity. They started in 2005, and Spirit's still roaming to this day. Opportunity lasted 2 years, but it was only supposed to last 3 months. Together, they have taken 1/4 of a million photos and explored 25 miles. Opportunity is known for finding the Victorian crater.
Alexa, tell me a joke.
People hang up horseshoes for good luck. So why don't horses hang up socks?
So, it isn't just those 2 rovers. It's also we also have found things from other rovers like Pathfinder, Viking 1 and 2, Curiosity, and Phoenix. And it isn't just rovers. It can also be global surveyor cameras, like the one that was from 1997 to 2006.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Well, now you've learned about the discovery of Mars and some basic information about Mars. But there's a big question. Is there water on Mars? Well, short answer, yes. Long answer, well, there are many different types of long answers. So one of the forms of water on Mars is their ice. So there are glaciers, and they probably covered most of northern and southern Mars a while ago. And there have been signs of glaciers near the equators too, but not quite as much. So the Orisa Mons volcano. So scientists believe that there's a glacier under the volcano, but the glacier went directly from a solid to water vapor, which is why scientists haven't been able to figure this out earlier because there wasn't any erosion from the liquid. So about 3.5 to 4 billion years ago, there were a lot of underground water in the Meridiani Planum, and the water was quite acidic. There are these rocks, and they're called blueberry rocks, and they're found on the face of Mars, which proves that Mars did have water. They're made out of eroded water and dust, and they're found in the Eagle and Endurance craters. 2 particular regions were water-rich in the past. They're the Meridiani Planum and the Gusev crater. So those 2 areas were very water-rich in their past, based on what scientists have discovered. So in all, water is on Mars, but there's not very much of it, and if there was a lot of it, like Earth has, it would have been in the past.
A good question, a better question, you could say, than is there water on Mars, is there life on Mars? Well, 34 meteorites have come that have fallen on Earth have come from Mars. Some of them contained evidence of life on Mars. One particular one was found in 1996 in Antarctica with Martian bacteria. This bacteria was called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, also known as PAHs.
So we've discussed life on Mars, water on Mars, but the big question is, could humans ever live there? To answer that, we need to first decide what are the requirements for human life. So one of the main needs is that humans need to stay at a certain atmospheric pressure, or else their bodies just can't handle it. They also need calcium and proteins and vitamins to keep their body structure. Our body temperature also needs to stay between 21 and 41 degrees Celsius, or 70 to 106 degrees Fahrenheit, or else our cells start to die. We also need water, and that's very important for human life. We also need oxygen. 5 minutes without oxygen starts causing brain damage. 10 minutes without oxygen could easily cause death. We also need food for our bodies to keep going, but we can last a little more than 3 weeks without food.
So we went over what humans need to live, but we didn't go over what Mars supplies. So we needed a certain atmospheric pressure, and Mars has a 0.087 psi, and Earth's is 14.7. Mars can have 20 degrees Celsius days, or 68 degrees Fahrenheit, as you American people call it, weather at noon at the equator. So, I mean, we might be like, oh, that's average temperature, but that's like the highs of the days. Lows can be negative. Okay, so there is signs of water shown. So, I mean, all over the place, but it's hard to find. So we would need to bring water from Earth, but some of Mars could supply that. But there's also ice, so that can also work. There's a little bit of oxygen in Mars's atmosphere, 0.146%. Instead of 27%. And Mars is rich in carbon dioxide, making it perfect for plants to grow. So the soil is very suitable for plants. And although the climate might be a little weird, we would be enclosed in a space with 2 to 3 airlocks, and it would keep the temperature correct, and it would keep the oxygen it would keep it inside the airlock. And the way, you're like, oh, what if we breathe up all the oxygen? We would use the plants to regenerate, or using the carbon cycle. We would give them carbon dioxide, they would give us oxygen. So it's a cycle. And we're very adaptable to climate. So, I mean, humans, we can live from negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit to 120. I mean, we're very adaptable. We are coming back from our mission from the Victorian crater, and we are going to our Mars safe house. Along with me is Evan, and I am Jack. Here is a passcode lock to open the doors, just to make sure random things don't open the doors. And here are airlocks to make sure that all the toxic gas stays outside. And the second one is to keep all the oxygen inside. So right here is the farm where we get all our food. And that's Evan demonstrating, or just looking at the food. So the main things we would grow are potatoes, quinoa, and soy. And because those are very nutritional and they're pretty easy to grow for some people. Here is the lab where we take our rock samples and test them and see if there's life, see if there's water, see if we edible. And here are just the different liquids and gases. So here's the solar panels where we get all of our energy, and sometimes the sun can be very strong, but not as strong as Earth, so can't power a huge thing. And here's the bedrooms, the sleeping quarters, where our humans would sleep. And here we go. We're going to go to a satellite that will communicate with Earth. So here is the satellite. Do you see those things that look like solar panels? They are solar panels, and the gold is copper to have the electricity go through. And here's the communication to NASA, and Evan will explain from here.
Oh, so right here is the rover we are planning to send to Mars. This is just a test. Those are the work areas, and here's communication to Mars where we get teleported to Mars. So this is where we receive, and that is our idea for humans life on Mars. Thanks for watching.